Definitely thoughts. Can I start?
Sure.
Um, well, it was good to see Styles from Teen Wolf back in action. Dylan O'Brien of Teen Wolf fame and from Maze Runner. Um, it's interesting because Dylan O'Brien runs with his full body. You notice that? Like he runs like with his head, he runs with his arm, he runs with everything. And uh, even though this movie uh, took a while to develop, you can see why it did. They had to kind of like set things up so they can knock them down, right? Um, so our thoughts, jump ball.
Well, I mean, let's not change up, something that you always do. Let's rate it. Let's
Yeah,
let's
let's rate
let's,
it.
let's,
Yeah,
let's,
let's have
I
some
didn't
reviews.
know if
Let's
we.
rate
All
it.
right, can I be honest? I didn't know, Anthony. I don't want to. I'm nervous about rating. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want us
No,
to put.
no, yeah, no. We supposed to rate.
yeah.
Okay,
That's the
because
assignment. Yeah,
if we all unanimously hate the project, we may not get
that's not
future
how that
projects.
works.
Of a
That's not how
rating.
that works. That's not
Yeah,
how that
Uh,
works.
rating. You're tripping.
yeah, I don't know, but
It's just
let's.
one project, it's not like we hate them all. You know what I'm
You think
saying?
I got
you think they call them reviews for you to only review them if you
right.
Right.
I mean, I think that there's reviews that you just, hey, I happen to check this out, and then there's, hey, I want you to look at my product and talk online to your following
Mm,
about them possibly coming to watch or help stream the project. And
I
with
think
that, yeah, I'm just trying to be cautious. That's all.
that
I
would make
think
Anthony
when we get
crazy.
into it, will satisfy what it is that they're looking for, right? Because at the
Okay.
end of the day, they want people to be talking about it, and the more people who's talking about it, they see us talking about it, then other people who follow us are going to be interested. Like, I'm see what this guy's talking about.
Okay. All right. You said it. Okay. Well, just making sure. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause- all righty. So let's give our honest opinions then. I'll put this up. We'll take it down. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thumbs down if you did not. Meh in the middle if it's like either way. I'll take it down in 3, 2, and 1. Oh, okay. Hey, a net. We're at a net. We're around a net zero. We're about a net zero. We cancel each other out. All right, let's start with the mez real quick. Yes. Um, without delving into everything that happened, just your general feelings on why meh instead of great or terrible.
Only because if you weren't seriously paying attention, like you're gonna miss a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like if you blink
Right.
the wrong way, you know what I mean, or turn your head the wrong way. Like this was one of those movies where you need to not only be watching, but you need to be thinking. And it was a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like I was trying to like piece things together, but then still, keep watching. So I mean, it was interesting, I would say. Like it was like definitely one of those movies where, you're the whole time trying to figure out what the hell is going on and what the premise of the movie is, like why this lake is, you know what I'm saying, the way it is, basically. So it's an interesting like concept. I enjoyed watching it. I just like it was a lot to take in for what I was like going into, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. What about you, Anthony? What's your thoughts, man?
Um, I think it has some issues, right? Like I think the pacing is a problem. Like it
Yeah.
starts off way too slow. Like, and then when it does pick up, like Yaz was saying, you've got to give it 10 toes in. You got to
Yeah,
give it your complete undivided attention. Otherwise, you'll easily get lost. And that kind of works for like rewatchability. But if we weren't all like doing this together, this would be a lot to take in.
yeah, yeah. Agreed, agreed. Sum it up. Ty, you liked it. Why?
I did. I like thought provoking movies. I think this is the epitome of that. When you, I agree with Anthony 100% with the pacing. But then I have to back myself up a second and say, if you are a fan or familiar with M. Night Shyamalan, you know that he does usually move very, very slowly in the pace of his movies. And so that when you look at it from that perspective, I think a lot of the fans that would come to watch this movie are I would assume, and maybe I'm wrong, that they are familiar with M. Night Shyamalan and come in with that type of mindset that you are going to have to pay attention, because there is going to be, because one thing I will say from a directorial aspect, he did make sure that he left enough crumbs to where if you do pay attention, then things all align. And that I think ultimately when you're building a picture and you have all of these puzzle pieces, you want to make sure that, you know, when you go to complete it, they all align. And I think he did a really good job of that. Um, Outside of the pacing, I thought the acting was pretty good. Lauren, let me see. Let me make sure I get her name correct. Lauren Ambrose, who
Yeah.
also you may know from The Servant, which is
Servant.
another M. Night Shyamalan project, is
Right.
is is
Yeah.
always good at being nasty. Like that's when I no, and I
Yeah.
don't mean that in a fresh way. I mean just like when
Yeah.
she wants to cut you deep, she has a
Yeah.
way of just saying things in a way that just you're like, oh, you know what I mean? So kudos to her for another great performance. And also have to give credit to Dylan O'Brien, obviously, but also Eliza Scanlon, which plays Ellie, the teenage Ellie, or version of Ellie. I thought
Mhm.
I thought she did a pretty good job in her character, and her moments where you don't have she doesn't have to say a word, but you can see it all over her face. I thought she did a really good job of showing you that emotion, whatever that emotion was in that very moment. So also kudos to her. So I enjoyed it.
Okay. All right, Anthony. Um, you already gave yours. Nolly, you
Hello.
said meh as well, like me,
No,
right?
I liked it.
You liked it?
But
Okay.
I like a lot, not all, a lot of M. Night Shyamalan stuff. I do love movies that make you think.
Yeah.
Like I have ADHD for everything else, but when it comes to watching TV and movies, so like I like looking for the little crumbs and the little
Yeah.
Easter eggs or the nods to something else. And it definitely was, if you paid attention, you could piece things, because like even like while we were watching it, at one point I was like, I'm calling it now, that's his mom. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Same.
wasn't far off.
Right.
But
Right.
so like it's easy to pick up things if you're really paying attention, but again, you have to be someone who likes to really pay attention. And I like movies that, make me think. Like anything that's an escape from like my day-to-day stuff, if you can make me think about what's going on here, then I'm good with it. I like it. I love it. It's for me. And I want to say that this project and his last project are giving me hope that he's learned from all of his mistakes and he's on kind of like a better path to giving us the good content again, if that makes
Oh,
sense.
well, do tell. Like, where did he go wrong?
There's a lot of his movies that you're kind of like,
Which ones? Dylan O'Brien. I haven't. I mean, I only know him
not
from Teen
Dylan
Wolf.
O'Brien, M Night
So
Oh,
Shyamalan.
M Night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yes. Well, okay. Well, let's wait a minute.
yeah, that's the
Now,
that's unpackage
now,
that
all
for a
right.
second.
We don't want to rehash the last Airbender argument, right? Because like that's a show and a half. Um, of course, Sixth Sense fame, we get that, but yes, maybe a sidestep with Lady in the Water.
I
Um,
loved Lady
That
in the
was
Water.
actually really good. That was I
It was
can't.
great. I bought
Yeah,
the DVD.
yeah,
oh,
Lady in the Water was actually really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
But we
So,
had like The Happening.
Mm-hmm.
oh, the happening was really bad. That was him. Damn, that was the one with
Yeah.
Marky Mark. Yeah, Marky Mark was famous for saying the happening was a movie in which nothing happened.
Yeah.
like nothing, like it was all happening and nothing happened. Okay, I liked The Servant. It wasn't a great plot, but it was entertaining. It
The
was
servant was really good.
beautifully,
Don't
We were
downplay it.
really
Don't
into that, Vince. Like
downplay
you
it.
would, yeah.
Yeah, don't downplay it because the servant was really
No,
good.
no, I'm downplaying it because I expected it to get somewhere, and when they ended it and it didn't go there, I was like, okay, all right. But
That's
at the same time, I did. It was entertaining to watch, but at
Yeah.
the same time, he know damn well that shit. He didn't. He ended that shit weird. He know damn well. He know.
He did.
We know. He ended that shit weird, man. All right, but so I'm still not trying to press you, but I'm still trying to figure out where M. Night went astray.
I just feel like we got like The Happening, and then we got our, and not a lot of people liked The Village. It wasn't for everybody. I liked
What
The
about you?
Village
What about
because
you?
I saw it at a drive-in movie theater, so
So did you actually watch it?
it freaked me out.
Sucking face
I did.
up there and Make Out Mountain.
First of all, I was young. Okay, I was young, and my dad took us, and we got to sit on the roof of his Suburban and
nice.
had the radio on, and we were watching The Village, but it's surrounded by the woods, and so
I get it.
I was
That
not
was
ready
bad.
to start swinging if something came out
Yo, I actually
Okay,
like.
because I was ready.
Can we also address that too? That M. Night Shyamalan's last 3 or 4 movies are all in the woods. What the fuck is up with this
Well,
series? Like he's staying in the woods. Like everything is in the woods.
it's a signature call, right? Like
Yeah.
it's like John Woo with the doves, right? Like it's a signature. You know what I'm saying?
It's giving me cheap sets and like cutting corners. That's
Copy and paste.
like,
You
yo,
think-
he's like, yo, we got 20 million from Paramount. He's like, all right, bro, let's call up Joe in the woods again and see if we could book the woods. The same woods from the last movie. Yeah, the same one. See if we can get a discount because we've been here. We're like a VIP customer now in the woods.
Still got that angle right accent.
Yeah.
Like,
He's just
seriously.
using a template. He's just doing a template, a movie templates with. All right. Okay. Well, for me, I liked it, but it was meh because it dragged. However, I do understand the purpose of setting up the timeline, but okay. Now, this may be a little of a stretch, but as much as I understand having to establish the plot line of the turmoil between the mother and the daughter and having to make sure we know that she doesn't know where the father came from and she's really upset about it, so she's gonna leave right now, and damn it, mom, I'm tired of this and he's not my real dad. That shit was frustrating as fuck as a parent to watch. Like, if you have kids and you watch that shit, you probably was, especially as a black parent, you're like, if you don't get like, by the time, look, when she was like, yo, get the fuck out my car, you can walk, I was like, yes, please, because she's been an ungrateful little snob, and they definitely painted her in that corner well, all to be able to bring her back around at the very end, which you kind of get that from the get. You're like, yeah, all right, this is character arc in the making. Let's go ahead and watch it happen. But man, was that frustrating as fuck for me to sit there and watch it, man. I don't know if y'all felt that or not. But then when Dylan's going through his thing, you did, Nolly, yes, immediately start thinking that's his mama, or somehow that's his, like we knew at that point, we're like, all right, it's just a matter of how we're going to come to this conclusion. Here are the unanswered questions that I have.
Okay.
What was the purpose of the wolves?
I had the same question.
It was just to show that there was a portal there, because the wolves were there in the 50s. So whenever we would see them in 2002 or 2024, that was just to give you a hint that, they were traveling through the portals as well. And that explained why the alligator was cut in half, because when we saw the rope get cut, it was a perfect cut. And now we understand why in the beginning of the movie, when the kids was playing with that dead alligator, it had that perfect cut.
Okay.
That's like when she found the moths and the guy said that they've been extinct from the area for such a long time.
Right.
But when we're by the portal, we see all the moths there.
Okay. Well, what about when the water came out at the end from the dam, and then it showed the rope get cut in half? Was that signifying that the water itself was the time very, or was it? I mean, what's the significance of the water? Like, she didn't move, and then the water went under her, and the rope cut.
The cut.
Oh, go ahead, Anthony.
Because they opened up the dam in order to get the boats to come look for her. She had been missing for 3 days, and they had said before they had to, go through all this approval process in order to get the dams open so that they could fill the lake up with water again. So whenever there's water in the lake, the portal just is closed. So I don't think the water like traveled through time or anything. I think that was just, the same time they opened up the dam.
Well, but more importantly than that, the reason for that and the significance of that specific scene is right before it happened, she was running through the forest and what happened was the necklace got caught on a tree branch. And the reason they showed the water is because remember when he found the necklace, he found it underwater. And the only way that there was water in that area is because the dam itself had been let loose, and all of that stuff had been remained under the water. So when found that necklace, that was the significance, showing you where and why that necklace was even underwater in the first place. Because you would have assumed that the little girl died because she had the necklace on when she left. But no, the necklace was actually left there back in time when she ran through the portal and got it caught snagged on a tree, and then it wound up underwater. So that's why I'm speaking so much to his actual directorial aspect, because that is a key ingredient on putting the story and making it all make sense all the way back into each scene where he's showing these things. So I was like, oh, okay, all right, I see why that makes so much sense to do that right there.
I'm gonna give y'all something though. Let's just remember, M. Night produced this. It was written and directed by Celine Held and Logan George, a writing directing duo. So they definitely worked with M. Night to get this type of tone. But if we like it so much, it's like it's their definite attempt to almost homage M. Night style. Right.
Well, I definitely take everything back and give credit to where credit is due. So whoever the directors you just mentioned. Yeah, I retract my initial statement, and they did their damn thing. How about that?
Okay, can we just establish some crucial points just to make sure we're all on the same page with regard to a few things?
Okay.
Right. So Ellie, arguably the main character, all right, curly hair, girl from the beginning, the bratty one, some would say, that is the daughter of Paris, who is played by Dylan O'Brien, correct? Now, Dylan O'Brien's girl, well, I don't even remember her name. I don't remember the name of his girlfriend's name.
I don't know, but she's Ellie's mom.
She's Ellie's mom. And so, but Ellie's sister is Dylan's mom.
Right.
So Ellie, okay.
So Paris is her uncle.
Paris.
And dad.
Paris is her dad.
Her son.
And her uncle. He is her dad and her uncle.
Her daddy and uncle.
So Anna's her grandmother?
Yeah.
Anna is yes, she is. She's the Anna is her sister. Anna
And
is her sister, and also by birth, by the fact that she was born by her son, is also her grandmother. Yes,
Right.
she
The
played
other
both.
timeline.
Yes,
All
in
right.
the other
So here, let
timeline.
me put it in layman's terms for
Vince's
you,
face.
Vince. So that way you can, yeah, because your face is saying more than anything right now. Okay. So all right. So in 2022, right, where we started with Ellie, okay, like where she's like getting on the boat and then her little sister goes missing, right? In that form, okay, technically speaking, all right, Paris is not there. You see what I'm saying?
In
No, In
2024.
2022 he is there.
He ends up back there when he dies in the dam, and they see him die in the dam. Do you see what I'm
No,
saying?
no.
Yeah, I
He's
see what you're saying.
no. He was there initially. Like, let's be clear. Paris was there initially, in 2022, along with Ellie. As yes, he was absolutely
Oh,
there.
because he was in the lake.
He
He
went
was in the
back.
lake.
He
You're right.
went back in time. Yes, he did. He did all of
He
this
was in the
stuff.
lake. You're right.
He was in the lake. So he initially was there. So Ellie and Anna were there as sisters. Anna being the younger of Ellie. When they walked through the time loop, Anna was the first one to go through the time loop. She goes in the time loop first. Uh, what's his name? Parrish steps a foot. Paris steps a foot in there and feels something that feels strange. Backs his way out of there. He doesn't go fully in yet. Ellie is now looking for her sister. Everybody's panicking because she's lost. She goes into the time warp. She finds a version of her sister. She brings her back to the present. Paris also goes into the time warp, following behind Ellie on a rope that she's tied to keep her anchored to her own timeline. Girl moved real smart with that, by the way. Like, that was hella smart. He is unfortunately not tied though, so he falls off somewhere on the time bridge, and then when he does that, he finds a version of her sister. The version he finds is the version from 2022. Now that version, he's in 1952 when he finds her. He takes her to the gentleman on the truck. Those gentlemen take her to wherever. She winds up in an orphanage in 1952, where she grows up, and as Anna, whatever the name was at the time. She winds up marrying Paris's dad. They have Paris in their future, in their alternate universe or whatever in the timeline. Paris comes out of the timeline that he just found young Anna in, to basically discover that he's in the present time where they're looking for Anna, and he's a suspect now in whatever's going on. Remember, 2022, they had to get permission to release the water into the dam. So that whole scene that you see is present day, him dying in present day, even though they had him in the past. If any of that makes sense whatsoever.
Nah, it all makes sense. What's the significance of the dam and its effect on the time warps?
So he was that's a pivotal moment. So he was trying to research his mom and the seizures and everything, and on the timeline for the dam, when it was at like its lowest basically, or when it didn't have water in it, was when his mom had seizures basically, because his dad had a notepad of all the time that she had seizures, and he tracked it, and like on that like basically from his dad's writings, and then him checking the dam, and like when, you know what I'm saying, the river was at, you know, like, because she died at Caddo River or Caddo Lake, so he tracked and saw when the lake was at its lowest, and that's how he kind of like tracked them together and figured out like when the lake's low, that's when, you know what I'm saying, like things get weird. And then when he remembered when he went back in, I can get back. Because if the lake is low, he can get back. But then the water, you see what I'm saying, like rose, and he couldn't get back at that time point.
Oh.
And he jumped into the lake trying to get back because it was, you know, it was low, but not when they opened the dam.
Now, when they
See what I'm saying?
opened the okay,
I
that
thought
makes
he
sense.
was
When
trying
they
to stop the death of his mother. Honestly, I thought that's what like we were seeing was like he was in 2000 and whatever it was, but I thought that he saw an article or something saying that or something that he saw on the news or something about the weather or something like that. It was something, right? Am I wrong? Like I thought he was
No.
trying to like stop his mom's death.
He had the idea, but I don't think he actually had an opportunity to take advantage of it. Because,
Right.
like, as
Yeah.
soon as he realized he was back in time, he was also a wanted man every time
Right.
he went somewhere, right?
Mhm.
He was a wanted man in the 50s for showing up with that girl. And then he was a wanted man in 2002, or 2024 because he showed up with their boat. So he never really got back to 2002. So I had to sit here and draw myself a graph. Like now it all makes sense to me. I'm a visual person, so I just drew myself a graph.
you drew a graph on the computer?
Yeah, let me
I was gonna say, wait, let's see this. I want
You
to.
got like a board
You
connecting
got me
dots with
intrigued now.
strings and shit. Like, yeah,
Right.
man. Like,
No, I just opened up
This is how we
Microsoft
know.
Paint.
Yeah,
But
because the reason I asked is because the version of his father, remember the version of his father, this was like 2023, was the last place he was, 2023. That version of his father was now sick and dying. But when
Yes.
we saw,
Right.
so with that, like I know he said he could go back. So I'm just like, how long at this point had Anna been gone for them to think like, where'd you get that boat? You know what I'm saying? Like you must have had
He said-
something looking for the little girl.
this is where I get confused
So
because
wait, Ellie went back to 2005 though.
2005, I wrote 2002.
Like Ellie went back to 2005.
So they
And she
did
was
stop in
research,
2002 though. That's when they had Ellie. And then yeah, you're right. She did go back to 2005. And that's where
She figured out that where her sister ended up in a different timeline, and that's when, you know, she pieced everything together on like, oh shit, there must be two Annas because the other Anna, you know what I'm saying, she made it back.
yes. So Anna went missing in 2023. Time traveled back to 1952. In 1952, she had a nice long life where she had Paris. Paris had met his girlfriend, and they had that moment in the trailer in 2002. And then they were the parents of Ellie in 2023 after Paris went missing.
yeah, so when that moment in the trailer was the conception of his
Ellie.
mom.
No, the moment in the trailer was the conception of Ellie.
Ellie,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Yeah.
Of Ellie.
And then
which is odd because that was that seemed like that was present day. So he
It's just because 2002, 2023, you know, you're not going to really see, unless people are talking on cell phones, you're not going to really.
Right. And he was he's such an outback dude, you know what I'm saying? Like they was poor. I mean, I don't know if poor is the right
The only
word.
person I think we saw with a cell phone was the black dude on the boat. And if I'm not mistaken, it might have been a walkie-talkie, but I think he had like a flip phone. I could be wrong.
Yeah, and we probably didn't notice because they was doing industrial work, and we probably just thought, you know what I'm saying? It's just
and another thing that messed us up too was when the first scene, what messed me up specifically is when they had that scene where Ellie left the house to go out and look, well, just not go out and look, but she was mad and left and he was like, it's almost nighttime or whatever.
Yo, that shit annoyed me so much.
Yeah, he was trying. He was
so angry. Yeah. I was so angry at that. Like, there's people over. We got company. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
well, yeah.
Hey, bitch, you want to do this now? You want to do this now? You don't even live here. You don't live here. You know what I'm saying? You don't do this now. And that was that during that little lull in the beginning. So I'm annoyed and I'm impatient. So, but it blurred out.
Fair point. But when she did go out there and she was in the middle of the lake, the way they shot it, they made it seem like she was not far from where he was. So like they were in the same timeline, like because he heard the same thing she heard. And so I was assuming that all of this time I'm assuming they're in the same timeline. They never showed them together. They never showed, but so that absolutely makes sense. So the whole time they were on opposite timelines.
Well, I don't want to say opposite, but different. I think if we rewatched it, we probably would notice different Easter eggs to indicate the time.
Yeah.
Like at first we thought that the trucks being old were just indicative of him being in that area, that location, that kind of town, but evidently it was more indicative of the time frame. I'm almost certain if we go back and look at stuff that was on TV, it'll probably be, in the backgrounds and radio, we'll probably see it. So kudos, because those are things that don't ever sleep on the rewatch. If a motherfucker gets you to rewatch shit and you find even more gems, like that's how you know shit is really, really, really well written. What about because I have a different theory. Ty said that he found a version of his mom back in 1952. I have a different theory. I think that there was a different version of Ellie, perhaps, but that he stumbled through a time warp and ended up in 1952 after finding the body. I don't know if she just happened because it was clear like you'd go through one and then you'd be like in this middle place and then you'd come out of it somewhere else. And I think that when she finally got the ropes tied up, she figured out how to get from one timeline to the other. So the question is, like these different versions of Ellie, like how do we have those? I don't understand how the girl who was in the forest, that was not Ellie, excuse me, Anna. I think is it Anna? Anna and Elsa? Is that what they're doing? Really? Okay. Like when she was in the woods, she was in the woods because she left when she met with Ellie. She left because she's like, oh, I was trying to follow you to so-and-so's house, right?
Yeah.
But that was after she had her tooth took out. So, but she had her tooth in.
That's because she found one that was early. That was at the time. Remember, she was like, "Oh, stop! What year? You're not what year?" She was like, "That happened 6 months ago, or 3 months ago, something like that, right?"
But so my point is, but when she left to go look for her sister, quote unquote, her tooth was already out.
Yeah, but she had. Go ahead. She had went back in time to when that happened before. So that's not the first time that she chased after her and something like that happened where she found her in the bog. So that was the other thing, right? Because we was jumping in between not just 2002, 2005. It sounded like we was jumping in between a couple of months in 2023 as well. So one thing that was real important was each time they went through a portal, she was jumping through a different time. Like she went through, like when she was going from one side to the other, she went through like 4 portals.
Yeah, 3 or 4. Yeah, real quick.
Okay, so the mom, Anna, eventually died of an accident when she drove over the bridge and had a seizure around where the portal was. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Dylan or Paris essentially died around the same area, but in a different time. And we all know that when Paris saw his girl of the past, he didn't recognize her, but she recognized him at the car.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because he wasn't with her. You know what I'm saying? Like she had a new husband and a new life and everything.
Yeah, it had been years removed. Yeah.
Right. He wouldn't.
I want to say, I'd say probably Ellie. Fuck. Ellie, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I can't.
you want to make this Frozen so bad, don't
I
you?
know,
Go
They
ahead.
right?
ain't making this Frozen. Elsa and
The
Anna.
names are
Um,
on the screen.
oh my bad. That's true. Yeah, Ellie. My bad. I didn't even look that for. They Ellie. She didn't have when she was trying to find Anna the first time. She didn't really have uh I just got confused when like she showed like when she showed up and she was already there. Like she,
Right.
how
That's
did
what
she?
I
It's
have
not
questions
just time
about.
port. Like she's going in the same. She's. It's not just time portals. Like how did she go through a time loop and she showed up in the same? All right, you know what?
It's
I
it's
That's
don't
what
not
I
know.
had
just
questions
I don't
about.
know if it's a time loop as much as it is at like more of a time bridge with different branches. So like at it, like if you can go back, if you're walking like say a straight line, like Yaz alluded to, if you're walking straight, but you feel like you're walking straight, but when you look back, that line that you have is like all over the place, kind of crossed all
Mhm.
over. It's because like you don't have a certain pathway. Time is kind of infinite, and so there's like you could literally step here and step in the same spot and be in a different time period just because it's not really about lines and everything like that when it comes to time. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was kind of what it was showing. Like when she kept running through the doom 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 doom, like those are three periods and within that could also be in the same timeline, but different periods within that same timeline, or vice versa. If I jump over here, I might be like so that's kind of what it was, and that's why that you had two versions of Anna, the one that he found and the
Mhm.
one that she found, because he found her at a different time and she found the other Anna at a different time.
Yep.
So the Anna that he found was from her time, was from Ellie's original time,
Mhm.
but he found her in 1952. He takes her to some gentleman to get her right because she's been stabbed and she must have healed. They put her in an orphanage. She grew up to be his mom. You know what I'm saying? This is wild. This is like the story. This takes the whole thing of time and kind of adds just a little bit of a twist on it. You know what I'm saying? Enough to make it more interesting because we've had so many time movies over the course of and shows over the course of our generation and past generations. So it's interesting to see something that number one, you have to watch it to understand everything that goes on. That's why Dark was such a good series when we watched it on Netflix. Is you if you don't pay attention, you could get lost in the sauce, and that's why I think there's a certain kind of viewer that watches M. Night Shyamalan movies and properties because they know that it's going to be something that I have to that's going to be kind of thought provoking and something that kind of makes my mechanisms kind of active and everything like that. So yeah, shout out to them. Man.
So I
All
have a
right.
question though. They brought Anna back to some timeline though. What timeline then? Because they brought the other girl back. You know what I'm saying? Like he took one to 1952. Where did that Anna go to? Because she was returned back to her family, and when Ellie got home, Anna was still missing. It's been 3 days. Remember?
No, to the present. She brought that was the whole purpose of her tying the thing back to her thing.
The tree.
To the tree. Actually, no, it wasn't the present. I take that back. I'm
See,
wrong.
but that's what I'm saying though.
no, you had it right the first time.
Yeah. So she didn't take her back to the present. She took her back to the past. Like the past, but her present. Her present, but still in the past. Because remember, she said, don't let her go onto the lake. So that means in the future, don't let her go onto the lake because y'all gonna lose her
Right.
ass. So she took her back to wherever that presence was where she found her. So whenever she found her at whatever time That was 3 months ago, you say? So that was 3 months ago. So she took her back to the 3 months ago time period where she lived. She was like, come on, I'm taking you home, and took her home. And that's when she told Daniel, don't let, so if you do right by me and listen to what I'm telling you right now, then the future, what happens in the future won't happen. You get what I'm saying? So this is kind of like that's what it is.
I feel like that Nolly, you muted.
Nolly, you're muted.
I was saying, yeah, he's right, because remember when she brought her back and said, don't go on the lake, she had been assumed to have left already, which meant that Anna would have been gone already by that point too. So
Well, wait a minute.
Mathing.
Didn't she? But if my recollection serves me correctly, when she walked back in the house, when Ellie walked back in the house, her mom was picking up stuff off the floor because they had a fight earlier.
Yeah.
And but they didn't mention nothing about the baby, about the daughter being missing at all at that point.
Maybe she wasn't missing.
She wasn't missing long.
So she was back before she had even went missing, because in the second half of that clip, the father was talking to Anna on the porch. So when Ellie originally saw Anna in the woods and she had her tooth back, what Yaz was asking is, okay, where did she take that version of Ellie?
Right.
And you're saying,
that's what I'm asking. Like,
that's 1952. That's 1952.
No. It's because she went missing twice in 2023. Right? Let's say she went missing in March and then she got missing again in June. So Ellie traveled back in time a few months and then she went back, even further. But when she found Ellie, that was from the one from March. And she took her home thinking that it was June, but it was actually March. So she dropped her off home and said, look, don't ever let her do this again, because she knows that this is going to happen again in June. And then Ellie's going to be gone for good.
Right.
So that's why nobody was looking for her. There was no Amber Alerts, none of that stuff, because when she brought her back in March, it was just like she was only gone for a little while and it was no big deal. But when it happened again in June, that's why they immediately said Anna must have followed after you, because she did this before 3 months ago.
Yep.
She's been missing all night. And the first time you brought her right back, is she with you? So that's
what I was saying. Like that, there was another, like, you know what I'm saying, like she traveled within her timeline. You know what I'm saying, only months apart. You know what I mean? Because she was like, remember, this happened 3 months ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let her out on the lake. That's why she said that to her mom when she dropped her off at home.
But I will say this now that y'all have said that, because it all makes sense, and now it really makes sense. So if your future version leaves the future and goes into the past and dies in the past, your future version is gone. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if she got back to her present, Ellie, her present, her sister is still gone. Anna actually left the future version left to go back into the past to be 1952 version of Anna. So that, to me, lets me know that these are different timelines. So, like, it's almost the same thing as the multiverse. These are different versions of the same people. You get what I'm saying? Like, because
of course.
Because if it was just time, if it was just about time, then what she did back 3 months ago would have changed the outcome of what happened in the future, but it didn't.
Exactly. That's what I was getting to. That's why I was like, wait a minute. They took the little girl back home. Like, you know, there was 2 Annas. They took one to 1952 and then the other one went home, but it wasn't Ellie's actual where Ellie actually came from. So in actual reality, Ellie's going back to wherever, you know what I'm saying, like her timeline that she originated from, with no sister, because her sister went back in time and stayed in that timeline.
Yeah, her sister went back to 1952. So that was the grown version of her sister. So so her sister doesn't exist in 2023
anymore.
Nope.
And that's why they had that heartfelt reunion with the mom. And she was like, look, they never meant to leave us.
Yeah.
Right? We watching Dad on TV right now, drowning. Right?
Yeah.
And you
Yeah,
know, and Anna went back in time and had that. Like, wow.
Yeah, that's wild. That like
Right.
even that, yo, I think on the rewatch we're gonna appreciate this movie a lot more because like we all came into it kind of not really understanding what this was gonna be about, and because of the pacing, it kind of puts you in that mind like all right, but something needs to happen. But when you start breaking all of this stuff down, man, it's like really like, wow, okay, that's ill.
I am a little disappointed that there wasn't a monster. When I saw the gator chopped in half, I just knew there was like a swamp thing or some sort of big ass gator monster in the lake or some
Poor
shit. I thought
Vince.
this was gonna be like Lake Placid, like but yeah, man, a very good addition to the time warp. I'm a time travel fanatic. Anything time travel, it don't have to be complex. It reminds me kind of like what's that show we watched? It's completely different, but it's not time travel, but the virtual world, the one with the where there, I think I can't remember. Oh fuck, man, damn! It was on Amazon for like a quick second. The Chloe DeGrasse, whatever she had, they go into the video game world and then but they all right. You know what? Fuck y'all. Dark too. Like Dark was like it was one of the better editions of this, where like you get stuck in the past and you make a whole new life, and then you grow up and then you find out that what you thought was like the neighbor is like your dad's niece. You know what I'm saying? It's still it's like everybody's like, oh my god, fuck. Very 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 fascinating shit, man. So I would recommend it. Would y'all?
I would.
Oh yeah.
I would recommend it.
I would recommend it if people watch it in groups. Because like if I had watched this by myself and I had only gotten the portion of the movie that I interpreted, I don't think I would be feeling the same way. Like the movie is definitely getting a better review because we all talked it through. I'm gonna be honest with you. It wasn't edited well enough. Like it had really good concept, really good ideas, but the editing made it really hard to really follow everything. Like you didn't know what time we were in. If we didn't talk about the 3-month difference when Anna disappeared, we'd still be stuck. I know I would be.
Yeah.
So
I would
like,
love to,
so like I would recommend it if people watch it in groups. If you're gonna watch it by yourself, this is tough for me to recommend.
Yeah, me and you, I think we was in the chat like, what? Okay, what the fuck just happened? Who did what? She's her mom, so she's the mom now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think. I mean, I don't know. I would hope that you wouldn't have to watch this in groups just to be able to enjoy it. But I definitely think it added to my experience. Would y'all recommend it, ladies?
Yeah. And just, I would just recommend that you get ready for a slow start and then a quick pace that you need to make sure you pay attention to, or you'll miss the whole premise of the story. So, and that's kind of important, basically. So, yeah, it's a good watch. It's just, you have to pay attention. Take notes.
Mm-hmm.
Take notes. Nali?
No, I agree. I think if you can get past the initial slow burn, because then it picks up quickly. So like while you're having the slow burn, you're picking up details, but then once it starts picking up, you really got to pay attention, because there are a lot of things that I missed that I only picked up after talking with you guys. So yes, like everyone else said, I would recommend watching with someone else. That way y'all can piece it together.
Yeah, 2 eyes and 2 brains. Excuse me, 2 eyes.
Were you talking about the Peripheral movie? Is that what you were like talking about on
Peripheral?
Amazon?
Peripheral.
Okay,
yes,
I was like trying to think about it, and I'm
DeGrasse.
like, this is the only thing I could think about was Peripheral. So
Nah, yeah, where they got the dude, the amputee dude, and he goes into the virtual world, and he's like a complete beast with the soldier shit, because he's like, I got all my arms and shit. I'm killing all y'all.
Yo,
like,
when is that coming back?
And it's Chloe Moretz. I think her last name is Moretz.
Yeah,
what I kept saying, DeGrasse.
Yeah, that's why probably nobody knew what you was talking about. I was like, Chloe DeGrasse.
Well, he said Chloe, and I was like, I think he's talking about Chloe from Kick-Ass. So like, I was like, let me just like, Amazon Prime. I'm like, I think he's talking about Peripheral. I'm not sure. So
I'm not as good with the names. But yeah, I definitely think that I would recommend it. However, for those who are intending to watch, my recommendation would be in the first 10 minutes should be your roll-up period. And then the 10 to 15, 20-minute mark, that's your spark period. And then the rest of the movie is why you're so inebriated because of the THC that everything that don't make no sense makes complete sense.
You'll be lost. You'll be lost. You'll be sleep. You'll be sleep by the 25-minute mark.
This movie is a mind fuck. Let's just keep it real. Like, the only reason we were able to grasp it is because it took 5 of us to make sense of this shit. Like, it's a mind fuck. So my experiences with mind fuck movies is best to watch them with your mind fucked.
I just, like I said, man, if you're a fan of M. Night Shyamalan, then you're gonna get what you're looking for. Like, this is typical M. Night Shyamalan.
All right, cool. Well, hey, on that note, I think we can go ahead and call this a successful review of a movie that we all recommend. But watch it, Caddo. That's what I say.
Caddo Lake.
Caddo Lake, thank you.
I love the new blurred order.
I do that at this. I don't even. Fuck it.
I love the new blurred order. You should too.
Let me get all this 10p Wayne. All the niggas rapping about the same old thing. I've been coming through with the same old gang. Ain't shit changed except 9 got a name. Got it out the mud, but we got no stains. Cold ass lizard with a gold ass chain. The girl call me daddy, not my government name. Money on my mind, got them bands on my brain. Let me tell y'all about a nigga I know. The nigga stay clean, so he always got